Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bunny Cakes, and if you're new here, welcome for the first time. Today I am going to be doing a book haul. So I'm going to start with books that have been gifted to me recently, and then I'm going to move on to books that I've bought recently, which are equal piles, but only if you count books separately and not page counts, because I've been gifted some chonky books um, in the last couple of weeks since my last book haul. So my first book, it actually wasn't intended to be a book gift when I signed up for it. It was actually part of the Reddit postcard Secret Santa. So, but my postcard Secret Santa sent me a book as well. And so I'm going to do my best not to show any addresses here, but I am going to show the postcards that I got along with the book that I was given. So, oh, I'm going to have to put that sticky note back where it belongs. So I got these really awesome postcards from my Reddit postcard Secret Santa. But also, when I asked them in my notes what I wanted, I told them to send me something special from where they're from, because that's how you get to know people, right? And your people, places, and things. You get to know people because of what's unique to them. So they sent me this really cute Utah book, Land of Contrast, and they filled it full of personalized sticky notes, which is really cool. And really, really pretty. I just put that sticky note on the wrong spot, I think. But it's really, really cool what they did, and so I totally love this, and thank you so much to my postcard Reddit Secret Santa. And the funny thing is, when I opened it, what I noticed first was the note that they left me and the book, and I didn't realize until I went to put the book back in to the envelope that there were actually postcards in it too. And when I opened it, I told my fiance, I said, my Secret Santa totally missed the mark, but in the best possible way, because I liked the book more than postcards anyway, and then I found the postcard, so it was like extra bonus. I haven't posted my thank you to them yet on Reddit, but I will be posting it today after I get done filming this video. So the next set of books that I have also came from a Reddit Secret Santa. So there was another Secret Santa that I signed up for that was a special Elves Secret Santa over on Reddit, and it ended up being a book Secret Santa. So my Elves Secret Santa gave me the first 3 books from Terry Brooks' Shannara series. So there is The Sword of Shannara, which is the original first book of the trilogy. There is the Elfstones of Shannara, which is originally the second book, but in this particular release, it's the first book, because it's released the way they did the TV show, and for some reason, they started with the Elfstones rather than the Sword of Shannara. And then the third one is the Wish Song of Shannara. Terry Brooks, I love this series. I've actually read these 3 books before, but I have recently been wanting to reread them because I can't remember where I left off in the series. So I decided I'd start over. And so it's really cool that my Reddit Elf Secret Santa gave me these books, because now I know I can start over with the first 3. And these are chonky books. This big one is, I think, almost 800. It's 726 pages. It's a lot. The Shannara series is about elves and magic, and it's very much Lord of the Rings-esque. But also entirely different. It's a series that I came across when I was, I think, a junior in high school, and I actually didn't come across the first chunk of the series. There's like 30 books and counting in this series, but I still recommend reading it because it's awesome. But I came across, I want to say, the second portion of the series, which is a tetralogy, and I fell in love with it. And then after I fell in love with the series, I went back and I read the first part of the trilogy, with the help of my local library, and I have been reading it ever since. I just can't remember where it is that I left off at all. Um, oh, oh, I just dropped all my books. Okay, that's fine. Nobody's hurt. It's okay. So the next two books I have are gifts from some of my book Discord friends over on the League of Extraordinary Readers. Which Kitten Reads started a book, no, not booktube, Goodreads, um, a Goodreads group which is designed around ninja gifting, members of the Discord server who choose to participate. So, I think this person must have gifted me almost immediately after I posted my link, because I swear I think I posted it and then literally the next day this book arrived is what it felt like. Um but the first book I was gifted was Stardust by Neil Gaiman, which is one I'm totally interested in. Um and I won't reveal the name of who sent it to me, just because I'm not sure if they would want me to. But thank you so much. I really totally am looking forward to reading this book. I am loving Neil Gaiman's work. Um, I actually first found out about Neil Gaiman when he wrote a couple of episodes for Doctor Who, and also I became obsessed with him a little bit after I watched the Good Omens series over on Amazon. Um, and then the second book that I was gifted to, from the Book Ninjas Quarantine group, is Malice by John Gwine. This one was a little bit of a forced recommendation by Witch Kitten Reads, and it was pretty obvious that if somebody had bought me this book, it was her. So, even though she gifted this anonymously, it wasn't super anonymous, so thank you, Witch Kitten. Um, I literally almost bought this book as an ebook, because right at the moment of filming this, the ebook version is like $2.99 on Amazon, on the US Amazon, and I came within a hair's breadth of buying this book, um literally the day before this big chunky physical copy arrived. And so it's definitely a book that I'm interested in, and now that I have a physical copy, oh, it smells like new book. Sorry, I'm a book sniffer. It happens. Anyway, now that I have a physical copy, I am totally going to get into reading it. And I think this may be the tome that I decide to read for the month of June. Okay, so moving past gifted books, I am going to move into the books that I bought for myself. So first I'm going to start with the two random books that I came across. So I picked up The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I found this for like $4 at a Dollar General store. And I have wanted to read this for a while. I've liked Paula Hawkins since I read Into the Water, and I believe this book came out first. And I keep brushing past reading it. And I never do. And so I finally saw it, and what actually ended up making me buy it is I looked at it, and I picked it up, and then I put it back down, and then I walked through the aisles, and I found this other book that I bought for my aunt, and I said, well, you know what, if I'm going to buy her a book, then I'm going to buy me a book, right? So I went ahead and I circled back around as safely as human possible because of the quarantine and the way you have to go through stores. I walked all the way back around the store, and I went and picked up The Girl on the Train, and I bought it for myself. The next book I bought that was kind of a surprise is The Angel Experiment, from the Maximum Ride series by James Patterson. So James Patterson is an author I don't typically read much of, but several years ago, my fiance's grandma or one of his aunts, I can't remember, they got me a book in the series. I want to say it was book 2, and I didn't realize it was part of a series when I very first picked it up and read it. Um, Sorry about the train there in the background. But I fell in love with the series and I wanted to read more of it, but then I never really got around to it because I could never find the books at my library. And this was back before buying books and stuff on Amazon was popular for me and for the people that I knew. So I never got to read it beyond that one book. But a week or two ago, the last time I was out at Walmart to do grocery shopping, I walked down the book aisle, as I do. I visit the book aisle when I'm in the Walmart. I found this book on sale for around $4. So I thought, well, that's a bit of serendipity, and I bought it, and I'm going to start reading that series again. Now, the next couple of books I have, one of them is a story that's meant something to me for a long time. It's called Z for Zachariah. This is a book that I hold on a similar level to Flowers for Algernon, and it's partly because of the time frame in my life that it came to me in, and partly because it was a story that struck me and it stuck in my memory. And I don't remember a good deal of the story, but it's about this 16-year-old girl who survives either a nuclear bomb or an atomic bomb, and she thinks she's the only person left on the planet until about a year into things she goes out to forage and she sees this guy swimming in a lake, and she meets him and they form a relationship, and things go a bit sideways, and that's pretty much all I remember from the story. And I never could remember the name of the story, but I want to say it was last week. I just decided to randomly Google um, a basic synopsis of it, and the book came up, and I read the full synopsis, and I was like, yes, this is the book. So I bought it, um, and it came really quickly, though I could have sworn I ordered a new copy and Amazon sent me a beat up copy. So we're going to talk to the Amazon about that. But I am also looking very forward to rereading this story because I remember when I think I was in like 6th grade when I read this story, and I remember it just struck me in such a way that it stuck with me for years. And I do believe this is a book we read the same exact year that I read Flowers for Algernon, because I seem to remember sitting in that same classroom in that same desk. Um, and so the next 2 books that I have are by the same author. Her name is Cassie Dandridge Selleck. The first book is The Pecan Man. And I read this book a couple of years ago. I want to say in 2017, maybe 2018. This is a really, really interesting story. Cassie Dandridge Selleck, I believe, would be a much more famous author if um, she had a bigger publisher. She self-publishes through Amazon. So let me read the synopsis for you because this one is really important. So, in the summer of 1976, recently widowed and childless, Aura Lee Beckworth hires a homeless old black man to mow her lawn. The neighborhood children call him the Pecan Man. Their mothers call them inside whenever he appears. When he is arrested for murder, only Aura knows what really happened in the woods where Eddie lived. But the truth is a fickle thing, and a lie is self-perpetuating. Aura and her maid Blanche soon find themselves in a web of lies that send an innocent man to prison for the rest of his life. 25 years later, Aura sets out to tell the truth about the Pecan Man. This book was so amazing. So Aura Lee is a rich white woman in the mid to late 70s, and she has a black maid, and she gets to know these people through this tragedy that happens, and she sees the experience of these people that through her whole life she never could have understood. And it's written, it gives me vibes of like To Kill a Mockingbird, because it shows a thing themes of racial and social inequalities and the learning experience from it, but also the way it's written. This book will hurt you. It's going to hurt your feelings, it's going to make you mad, and it's going to make you cry. But also, I love it for all of those reasons, because it's just a really important book. And I'm going to reread it, and I know it's going to make me cry, because just thinking of it makes me want to cry. When I very first read the book, I ended up getting my library to borrow it from another library for me. And a while back ago, a couple weeks ago, my mother-in-law Pygmy was asking me about it. So I went to look it up on Amazon to see how much it was so I could buy it, because I love this story so much that I wanted to own it. And I'm sure a lot of you out there know what I mean. There are some books where you need to have physical possession of the story, because the story is just such a part of you that you need to own it. But when I went and looked for The Pecan Man, I found out that without my knowledge, Cassie Dandridge Selick had published a sequel to the story, which is The Truth About Gracie. In this sequel to The Pecan Man, Eldrin Mims has died in prison after serving time for a crime he did not commit. When Oralee Beckworth decided to set the record straight, her confession left Branch Lowry's daughters, Patrice and Grace, to grapple with the aftermath of a lifetime of lies. Now the sisters must reframe everything they thought they knew about their mother, their brother, and the man they knew as Eddie. I am so looking forward to getting more out of this story. I had no idea this book existed. I kind of thought that it would be a one-off story, because it's written in a way that it totally could be. And it looks like it was published, I want to say this year. That's what the back of my book says. It was the 7th of May 2020. So it came out like not long after I found it. I highly recommend reading these two books. Like I said with the first one, I know the first one is going to make you ugly cry. It's going to make you feel all of your feelings, anger, sadness. Also, there's trigger warnings. Because of the tragedy. If you are sensitive to themes of racism or themes of sexual assault, be careful with this book, because they are both in there. They're both integral part of the story. They can't be skipped over for this story, and the way they are written, you're going to feel it. So if you're sensitive to those triggers, be very careful when you read this book. That being said, it is The Pecan Man, I highly recommend, and The Truth About Grace, I am thoroughly looking forward to. I don't know why I keep saying Gracie. It's Grace. I'm so totally looking forward to reading that book. I'm going to reread The Pecan Man first, because I want to come off of that same emotion and go into the second book, because that's how I want to experience it. But that is actually all for the pile of books I have purchased recently. I haven't purchased any new ebooks yet. Yet. But that's what we're doing with money these days, since we're not going out and doing social things or eating out as much. I have more money for books. And now it's just a matter of finding space to put all of these books on my bookshelves that I just cleaned off. Anyway, thank you so much for watching my video, and I do hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And again, thank you to all of the people who have gifted me books in the last week or so. Um, so thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.